20 years ago, the Weber House in Riverhill Township was the site of ghastly depravity, a case the local police dubbed the Spirit Board Murders. Now, WNUF TV 28 takes you on a horrifying journey through this supposedly haunted estate.
The WNUF franchise is a very obscure analog horror found footage franchise that is incredibly unknown. I would be surprised if anyone watching this video right now has actually even heard of it. Now, the first movie in this series is the WNUF Halloween special.
Wait! Stop! Think! There's nothing sexy about STDs.
Saturday afternoons at 4 p.m. You're watching WNUF TV 28.
This is an analog horror style feature film that is older than any of the other analog horror examples you're probably thinking of, like Marble Hornets, The Backrooms, The Walton Files, Petscop, Local 58, and so many, many others. This movie was released in 2013. And one of the best ways to understand what this movie is doing is to understand its style and film language, which is found footage analog. Now, what I mean by that is that this movie is presented as if you were watching the actual taped recording of a real live local TV station broadcast from the 1980s, specifically 1987.
Good evening, boils and ghouls. Hope that Halloween candy is still flowing in your neighborhood.
So behind the scenes, a lot of things were done to really make sure that what you're seeing is full of authenticity. I believe they used period accurate equipment. They took their video footage and transferred it from VHS to VHS to VHS to give it that old, like, degraded look. They made a bunch of fake local TV station commercials for the movie.
1. All trick-or-treaters must be accompanied by a trusted adult, someone they know, not a stranger, not someone they met at school, and not the guy that drives the ice cream truck. 2, inspect all your treats before you eat them. That way you're not accidentally eating a razor blade or a needle infected with the AIDS virus.
And even start the movie with an entire fake 30-minute news segment of this local town from 1987 before the actual Halloween special starts.
The WNUF Evening News with your hosts Gavin Gordon and Deborah Merritt.
Don't check your dial, folks. You didn't tune into Transylvania's public access station. No, sir. Tonight is Halloween.
And I don't mean just the way it looks and its style is what makes it analog horror. It does have a very meta through line through its conclusion and horror punchline that really makes this very super fun to watch for someone like me who really enjoys meta storytelling. But essentially, this first 30 minutes of like news stories in the town and news reports sets up a lot of things and payoffs that come off later in the movie when the actual Halloween special starts. And for people who may just not know of this, but local TV stations used to make their own specials and like movies and whatnot to grab a local TV audience, you know, for money, for advertisement. That was just how things were back then, before the internet. And so this year's local Halloween special is going to be said reporter Frank Stewart investigating the town's local most haunted house. And so Frank Stewart decides to bring in a local priest, as well as 2 supernatural experts who are basically just the Warrens from The Conjuring, which is a lot of fun and pretty funny. They have a cat.
And welcome to you both. Nice to see you.
Well, thank you for having us, Frank.
Thanks, Frank. It's great to be here.
Great, thank you. Now listen, we're about to enter the house, but before we do that, earlier this week we had a chance to sit down and talk to the Burgers. They talked about their extensive history with the occult. It is truly, truly fascinating stuff. Watch this.
But yeah, that's basically where the movie fully begins, is now you're watching this Halloween special that is, you know, very stereotypical of what a local news station would probably come up to fill the airtime during Halloween Eve in the 80s. Now, this movie wouldn't be interesting if things didn't start to happen, and of course they do. Things start going weird.
Do you think that there are demonic entities in this house?
Oh, Frank, it is a
Let's keep walking, yeah.
a certainty. That
A certainty.
A certainty. There is no question in my mind, in my heart, in all the senses that I have, my extra senses, there is evil.
As we get to the basement, you're feeling it.
I am
I don't.
feeling something.
Wait, whoa, hold on. This is not staged. What we just heard came from the area where we just were, and instead of going downstairs, let's go back and see exactly what that noise was. Come on.
The Warren people's cat goes missing and then eventually turns up violently.
Folks, I'm sorry. I don't know how to explain this, but something so horrible happened during the last segment. While during that last segment, wait, no, stop. No, Tom, no, don't show it. My God, Jesus, Tom, stay on me.
And that's essentially the gambit, is you're watching this Halloween special air live as Frank and the people around him start to think that they might be capturing real evidence of the supernatural.
Jesus Christ, it's locked. Hello, is somebody in there? Somebody, wait, hold on, Veronica? What? What's that? Did Lewis and Claire come back in? What? I can hardly hear you. There is such a... What are you talking about? They're not down here. Veronica, get someone up here to open this goddamn door. Now, something's going on. Veronica!
Frank, we're sending in another camera right now. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Oh, the hell we are, folks. Folks, we are going where no camera crew has gone before. Father, perform the exorcism.
We're calling the police, Frank. Just break down the door and get out of there.
Perform the exorcism.
And now here we go. I'm going to fully just reveal spoilers because this movie does something with that premise that I really like. And that is, no, none of this was supernatural. Kind of hidden and hinted at in the news segment earlier is you see the actual perpetrators kind of confessing their motivation.
Halloween is Satan's night, the night of the devil. Tonight, the vortex of hell opens. Witches, goblins, and heathens are united to praise the Prince of Darkness.
Members of Harvest are making strong efforts to protect their community from what they call the dangerous nature of Halloween.
And the way the movie reveals this is you get a nice little clearly edited into what you thought was a recording of the live broadcast of their own personal footage.
Well, this is our show. But don't worry, we still brought all your guests. Are you ready for your close-up?
What the fuck is this all about?
Blasphemy!
What the fucking Looney Tunes, lady, all of you.
Don't get my face!
And I don't know, I just thought that was great. I thought that was really brilliant how the movie kind of tells you this plot, but then also has this whole other meta layer on top of it that makes it really pop and exciting and insanely memorable. There's a reason that this movie really sticks out in my mind as like one of the best, earliest examples of analog horror that most people don't remember at all. And coming off that really cool meta reveal and idea, which the filmmakers were very much aware of, that brings me to bring up how they kind of released this film as an attempt at a whisper campaign. So what they did is they took the movie and they put it on VHS tapes and just kind of left it lying around a VHS convention in Pennsylvania and other horror conventions up and down the East Coast, hoping people would just find it. And so that's a lot of fun. There might actually people out there who did find this, watch it, and to this day are like, oh my God, this crazy shit I found. Probably not, but I like to think that there's someone out there like that. And so I've been going on about this first movie, and so you may be sitting there asking yourselves, wait, didn't you say this was a franchise? So yeah, let's talk about the WNUF Halloween special sequel, aka the Out There Halloween Megatape. but really officially announced in early 2022. And essentially his plan for it, which he did make it fully independently, was to never put it on VOD or streaming or online anywhere. And so far, I can attest that if you go looking for this online, you cannot find it, no matter what legal or less scrupulous sites you try to find it on. So as of right now, the only way you can potentially buy and see this movie is to buy the DVD off of his own website, which sounds great, right? So that's why the title or the implication of this is that this is the analog horror franchise you can't finish. Because as of right now, you literally can't. It's frustrating, you know, for me and the viewer. I want to see that ending eventually. I want to see what that sequel is. And it's just a shame that, you know, there's just no access to it right now. So I actually purchased this in 2023, I think, like right when I first heard about it, that it was out and available. And after checking his website and seeing that it is currently sold out, I am really glad for this purchase so I can actually tell you people about it. So I guess without further ado, let's get into the WNUF sequel, the Out There Halloween Megatape. And very much like the first movie, this one also presents itself in a very meta way. Whereas the first one is supposedly someone's personal VHS recording of a local broadcast that you eventually found out was actually the killer's own recording and video themselves. The sequel presents itself as, and I didn't know this, but in the early days of the internet, before torrenting and streaming, there were like personal websites people ran that they just had an inventory of rare, obscure, lost, or out of print media that you could browse, message them and ask to purchase it, and then they would mail you the physical copy. And so that's what the Out There Halloween Megatape is. It is a piece of lost media sold by one Trader Tony's. And essentially, Trader Tony has a piece of media that he sells that he claims is a 1997 broadcast of another WNUF special that went wrong and has been completely scrubbed from the history, from the internet, and all the master recordings are gone. And he has the only copy left of it. And like the first movie, this one also follows a similar structure where the first 30 minutes are not the actual Halloween special. But instead of the structure of the first 30 minutes being a news broadcast, like the local news broadcast, this time it is of our somewhat main character, Ivy Sparks.
It's a dark and stormy afternoon, and all the creatures of the night have gotten up a little bit early to raise the dead with yours truly. So come on, gang, open up that candy you were saving for trick-or-treaters and dim the lights, because this is going to be a scream.
So in this first 30 minutes, we actually get a pretty good parody of a Jerry Springer show, and it's actually pretty funny and quite entertaining and could have been its own thing.
During the 1970s and 1980s, Dr. Louis Berger and his psychic wife Claire were leading experts in paranormal investigation. Then one fateful Halloween night, they disappeared without a trace. No one knows exactly what happened to them, but our next guest has some unsettling theories.
The Bergers were giants in their field, publishing dozens of paranormal books covering everything from Bigfoot to Banshees. Their best-selling paperback, Rusty Moon, the Junkyard Werewolf of Flint, Michigan, was even adapted into the horror film Mooniac, starring cult icon Reed Richmond. Despite their status, the couple was routinely accused of manipulating the facts.
And yes, much like the first movie, there are things in this opening 30 seconds that tee up stuff that happens in the later half. And so after this, opening, you pick up a year later with the live UFO special broadcast that WNUF is putting on this year.
Happy Halloween from WNUF Ace 28.
The following presentation contains controversial theories that may not be suitable for all audiences. The views and opinions expressed in this program are not the only possible interpretations. Viewer discretion is advised.
UFOs, crop circles, unexplained sightings of alien beings. Hundreds of people in this community claim to have come face to face with otherworldly phenomena. But why is it happening?
If you watched Out There last season, you're familiar with the bizarre alien reports coming from River Hill. Well, tonight, Out There is proud to present all the evidence in a once-in-a-lifetime television event. This is Out There's Alien Exposé. I'm Tate Dawson, and I'm joined by my new co-host, Ms. Ivy Sparks.
That's right, Out There Knots. I'm thrilled to be joining Tate on his journeys into the strange and unusual on the next season of Out There, coming to Ace this April.
And Ivy Sparks has had a bad year. Her show got canceled, and now she's relegated to this, which she views as below her UFO, tabloid journalism. And these were real things in the 90s. I remember this as a kid, where you'd put on the TV late at night and there'd be some crazy wacky special. It lines up with some weird nostalgia from my when I was single digit age brain, which is kind of fun. But yeah, Ivy is essentially helping host this live Halloween UFO special broadcast where they're hoping to somehow find actual evidence of the extraterrestrial. And part of that is them setting up what they want the audience to believe is a legitimate sting on a local military base.
Through cutting-edge technology, including night vision and microscopic hidden cameras, we are going where no network television program has ever gone before. Back to you, Ivy.
What we are doing is dangerous and illegal. In fact, this is the first time the executives at the ACE network are even hearing about what we're planning to do.
And this also ties into local news reports that have been happening in the town throughout the year of strange UFO sightings in the sky. And so that's what the sequel plays with. The sequel plays with, wait, are there actually UFO stuff happening? Are these aliens real? What's going on here? And it honestly is really well done. There's a lot of really great tension in that they, while walking that line of what you want to believe and what is real and what isn't, it kind of created a sense of unease in me that I really thought was a lot of fun. And much like the first movie, this one also has a very interesting kind of meta punchline reveal that is just as good as the original, if not better. If anything, the sequel kind of takes what the first one does and enhances it and makes it better in almost every way.
The advancement of paranormal research.
Your aunt and uncle were con artists. And it looks like the apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
Return, we'll talk with a woman who says she's had sex with a ghost. You won't want to miss what's going on under those sheets.
Are you extremely overweight and dating someone twice your age? We want to hear about it. Call the Ivy Sparks Show at 1-800-CALL-IVY.
Terror is on the docket, because Judge Green is back. Guilty! He's judge, jury, and executioner.
Blood Gavel 3, the final verdict. Saturday night at 9.
Including that, ending twist punchline, which I'm going to make the choice and not reveal it. The reasoning being, I kind of don't want to lose this director's intent of having this movie be like this kind of mythical thing that maybe it's real, maybe it's not, maybe you can see it, maybe you can't, maybe you can find it, maybe you'll get to see that ending, maybe you won't, maybe you won't get to know what happens. I'm not going to tell you what happens, but something I am going to do is show you my reaction to it. I don't know why I felt the need to record myself watching it for the first time, but I'm glad I did, because what happens at the end of the sequel is pretty fucking great and memorable, and I wish I could talk about it, but yeah, that's the WNUF franchise. 2 movies so far. I saw one quote from the director about something he'd do in a 3rd movie, so it'd be cool if there is another one eventually released kind of secretly out of nowhere. I would love that. And I love how each one kind of progresses on like the meta layer of where people got lost media or obscure media from at the time. In the 80s, someone's personal VHS recording. In the 90s, some weird piece of media you ordered off of a fringe website that got mailed to your house. You could do one in the 2000s that's a sketchy torrent off LimeWire that maybe or maybe not gave you a virus. Who knows? Honestly, these 2 movies are great. If you can manage to buy a copy, I guess there could be resellers on eBay. I don't know. And if the website's ever back in stock, definitely check it out and get yourself a version. It's a lot of fun. There's actually cool like extras and shit on here that is really neat. Physical media, you know, it'll never be taken away from me. It'll always be in my possession. I don't know. I'm rambling, repeating myself, so I'll just say I love these movies. I think more people should know about them and see them. They're great meta storytelling. They're great analog horror style horror features. And it's rare when you see like an analog horror found footage thing done this expertly well and commit this hard to maintaining the style the entire time. So if you have access to these movies, definitely watch them, check it out, and I'll be back in the next one. See ya.
Out There will return for an all-new season this spring. Thanks for watching. Happy Halloween.